Jeff, I asked Mike Bray earlier if this year had made him change the way he approached the team after like a loss or a disappointing performance. And he mentioned like just the disappointment of this year has maybe like in part mentally hardened his players. And I wonder if you've kind of noticed that, if maybe just frustrations and disappointments off court have kind of helped your team in any way on court or dealing with performances that maybe they're not particularly proud of.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think these young people are dealing with a lot this year. And I think everyone, the players, the coaches, I think everyone is in need of mental health with everything that's going on. You have this game that we love and that you want, that normally brings joy to your life, even sometimes in the losses, because you're playing, you get to do something that you love, you get to compete, you all the things with that, and that's messed up this year. There are no fans. The competition is just weird. It's weird. The games are weird. And then, you're judged by it, right? Like you're judged by what's talked about, what's written. And so if you have a bad performance in the past for a young person, that can be difficult in general, but I think it may be magnified right now. And then when you're being criticized for it, I think that could be even tougher just with everything that you're doing. So there's not a lot of joy this year. And so as a coach after a loss, I am mindful of that. And you try to figure out the best way to get whatever it is that you want to get accomplished, talking to your team.
Where do you think you found joy or like helped your players find joy this year?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
Where do you think you found joy this year, kind of helped your players find joy in this year?
It's a great question. I like the fact, I'm grateful for the fact that these guys are able to play. I'm grateful for that. I do see the struggles that they have at times with playing, with everything that's going on. But it's, maybe I'm sounding like a Debbie Downer, but there hasn't been much joy, to be honest with you, with the season. I mean, even if you have a great win, it's joy in that moment, but then you go back to reality. And the reality of the situation is not good, just what's going on, in my opinion.
Mike Barber, go ahead.
Morning, Coach. I'm curious, could just look back on Saturday real quickly. Virginia's defense, they've had sort of a different style player at the back end with Huff there. Maybe Akeel Mitchell, Darian Atkins, some of those kids were a little more tough as nails, and Huff is a little more finesse or skill style player. How different does that make their defense with a different style player at the back of the pack?
Yeah, it is different. I mean, it's still elite. It's top 10. It's just not number one anymore. And they have some new people, with Beekman and with Mitchell and Murphy. They have some new people there. And so that could take some time, getting to learn it. Huff is a different guy. Like their ball screen defense maybe isn't as good as it's been in the past because of the guys that you mentioned were elite, at moving their feet and getting out and hedging hard on the ball screens and getting back and things like that. Now, what Huff does is that he brings shot blocking, and then they're so good offensively. I think that's the big difference in them, especially from last year. 2 years ago when they won it, they were, very good offensively as well. But, it's such a unique team because their shooting comes from their big guys. But Huff is, I think he's a really good player. I think he's a kid that's going to be a pro and be a pro for a while.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Christopher Carter, go ahead.
Jeff, last week when we talked to you, talked about how, with finding the balance of trying to push players but understand what they're going through. Now you come in, you wake up Monday morning and your game's gone Wednesday. How is this impacting how you get a grip for how you're judging your freshmen in developing this year?
Well, I mean, it's certainly a different year. For the development part, it gives us more practice time this week, so that'll be good for them. It'll be good for us. I think our freshmen have done a good job for us. They've been good for us. I'm pleased with them, and we're going to continue to work with them. I think they have very bright futures here.
Alan Saunders, go ahead.
Hey, Jeff, since maybe since the beginning of conference play, how much have teams changed the way they're defending Justin since he's been scoring really well? And is that something where he can personally adjust to those changes, or does the team as a whole have to make those adjustments?
Well, the ways that they've done differently, they've been really physical the past few games. I mean, very, very physical. And the last 2 games they've doubled a little bit. Last 3 games, Notre Dame did it a little bit. You knew Virginia does it. They double post to post. They didn't in the second half against us, but early in the game they did. Justin has adjusted, and we have adjusted. He's done a really good job of making passes out of the double team against Virginia Tech. I thought he played a really, really good game from the standpoint of he was patient, he didn't force, and when the other guys started making shots, it forced them, Virginia Tech, to play single coverage in the second half, and then he scored. So he's adjusted. We've adjusted. I worry about Justin. I worry about him getting tired just because the attention and everything that happens when you are a really good player and you're not used to it, not used to the attention and all the things that come with that, being the hunted. It can be mentally draining. And so us not playing on Wednesday hopefully is good for him and good for us.
We'll get one last question from Jerry DePaula. Jerry, go ahead.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for your time. At Georgia Tech, your next opponent is starting a unique stretch where they're playing 4 games in 7 days, starting Wednesday. How do you think your guys would handle such a crazy stretch like that?
Don't know. Have no idea. I don't know how they would handle it. Hopefully we're not in that position where we have to find out.
Jeff, thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. See you guys.